Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
A string of armed robberies has Rockford Police looking for this man, how they were able to tie him to each crime coming up. And Freeport businesses cash in as they celebrate the Pretzel City, the event that brought hundreds of people to downtown for more than just a salty snack. Plus, kids learning how to make butter and meet a baby cow, how the Discovery Center's special activities today are teaching kids to love our planet. Good evening, I'm Marissa Lessner. Thanks for joining us tonight. Rockford Police are looking for the man tied to a string of robberies. 26-year-old Tremone Lewis is being sought in connection to armed robberies at a mobile station on North Alpine, a Walgreens on East State, and a CVS on South Alpine. Police responded to an alarm at the mobile at 321 North Alpine Road in the early morning hours of Wednesday. On that scene, officers were given a description that matched descriptions given at two previous armed robberies. Eventually, Rockford Police identified Lewis as the man behind all three robberies. If you have information on the whereabouts of Tremone Lewis, they encourage you to contact the Rockford Police Department. Police in Bloomington, Indiana say suspects are in custody in a shooting near the University of Indiana. 5 people were shot inside of a nightclub around 1 a.m. after multiple rounds were fired inside the bar. Police say they have located a number of victims at 2 separate locations. It's unclear if those shootings are connected. The House panel investigating the Capitol attack says Donald Trump's chief of staff was told that plans to overturn the 2020 election were not legally sound in a court filing released last night. They say Mark Meadows was also warned that the events of January 6th could get violent, but he pushed forward with the rally anyway. The filing highlights the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson, a White House aide in Mr. Meadows' office, who revealed new details about the attack. Hutchinson said concerns were brought forward to Meadows that were warned there could be violence, but she wasn't sure what he did with the information. The panel put forward the evidence to try to persuade a federal judge in Washington to throw out Meadows' suit against the panel. Freeport holds a now major event, Pretzel Fest. It's the second annual event that had residents all around the state line attending, including our very own Nikel Delgado. And Nikel, how was that event?
Marissa, downtown Freeport was full of people today, showing off all of their Pretzel Pride and celebrating the second annual Pretzel Fest. Locals tell me that this is what makes their town special and unique.
Everybody comes out for the pretzel. We're all full of Pretzel Pride. You can even make the pretzel.
1, 2, 3, Pretzel Fest!
Freeport is known as the Pretzel City. Assistant coach for the Freeport High School Pums, Melanie Brown, says the pretzel is important to Freeport, and it all started with the Pretzel Factory.
To bring people together for the downtown businesses. We really want to shop local. I mean, we have a beautiful downtown. Our streets are just full of people today, and we have live music. And I think the pretzel is just a really good symbol of bringing us together.
Everywhere you looked, you've seen everyone showing off their Pretzel Pride, honoring the uniqueness of the Freeport area, including a visit from the Freeport mascot, Mr. Twister.
Definitely get out the house being cooped up for 3 years. And then it's a nice day on top of that, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Wrapped with smoke barbecue, Calvin Stahl says he is glad to be a part of this community event.
I'm ready for the barbecue competition. I want to see who wins. They got some good teams out here today, so see how that turns out.
Both Stalls and Brown can't wait for what is next in the Pretzel City.
I mean, everything we're doing here is for the community and for the better of our big team. I mean, I'm just here representing the dance team, but there's so many other local businesses and local groups that are here that really could use that support and build together as a community.
Locals tell me they can't wait for next year's Pretzel Fest. Marissa?
All right, thanks, Nicole. It's Record Store Day, and the McPherson has its grand opening today in Rockford. The Rockford Record Company held a grand opening event at the new location at 1210 Buchanan Street, right near the river. As an opening day sale, their over 6,000 records will be going for only $3. They also have a selection of rare collectible records for $10. They're also doing a sale on new vinyls for only $15. A member of the Rockford Record Company believes having something like this in the state line is huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is spaces like this, the idea, the concept around what we're doing here is exactly what Rockford's looking for. This is what they do in the big cities. This is how you have thriving art and music scenes, is by people coming together and doing spaces like this.
The event runs until 9 o'clock tonight. Even though Earth Day was yesterday, a State Line Museum is still celebrating as the Discovery Center holds Earth Day the Dairy Way at the Discovery Center. Local farmers and representatives from Midwest Dairy and the Winnebago Boone Farm Bureau had hands-on activities for guests. Their goal is to introduce them to how farmers use sustainability techniques to help take care of our big, beautiful planet. Children could meet a real calf, play dairy trivia Plinko, and make butter. That's in addition to the agriculture area where kids can always milk cows, operate a combine, and climb aboard a real tractor.
I hope people take away that dairy farmers are people too, and that we're working to build trust with you, that we understand your concerns that you had before, and that we want to work to remedy some of those things and talk to you about what we're doing to change things, and that milk is really good for you.
For more information on the event, you can check out this story at mystateline.com. And speaking of Earth Day, President Biden spent his second Earth Day in office in Seattle, where he signed an executive order on climate change. The order aims to protect and restore the country's national forests, which have been devastated by wildfires. It requires officials to identify threats to older growth forests and develop policies to help safeguard them.
These are the forests that store, sequester incredible amounts of carbon and help us fight climate change. Scientists estimate that the protection and restoration of our natural lands and waters can provide more than 1/3 of the solution to climate change. Just that, if we did nothing else.
The president's order requires federal land managers to define and inventory mature and old growth forests within a year. And take a look at this. Some North Carolina residents had a surprise guest on their afternoon trip downtown. A black bear seemed to want to enjoy the day in the park. The bear can be seen using the crosswalk, climbing a tree, and just going about his day. The police department said this is the third time they've had to assist in getting bears out of the downtown area in the last 3 weeks. Welcome back. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy speaking to reporters Saturday, saying he will be meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in Kyiv on Sunday. A spokesperson for the State Department declined to comment. The spokesperson for the Defense Department said they had nothing to offer on the trip. Here's ABC's Alex Prescia with the latest on the war.
As Russia steps up its attacks on Ukraine, President Vladimir Zelenskyy holding a rare live news conference, telling reporters he would like to meet with Vladimir Putin and that he can stop the war.
There is the diplomatic way and there is the military way. So any healthy and sane person always chooses diplomatic way.
Meanwhile, this hospital in the southern city of Bashtanka has been damaged so badly it's no longer usable. Its patients relocated. In the port city of Odessa, at least 6 people are dead, including 1 child. Another 18 injured in missile attacks. A senior Russian commander says the Kremlin wants total control of southern Ukraine.
Well, the south is important to Putin because he would like to cut off Ukrainian access to the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea. And it's through those seaports that Ukraine has a lifeline, an economic lifeline to the west.
Russian forces attempted to storm the steel plant in Mariupol, which remains the last stronghold of Ukrainian resistance in that city. The latest attempt to evacuate civilians from the besieged city failing once again. Officials say hundreds of those murdered in the city may be buried in this mass grave, reportedly seen in these satellite images. The scenes reminiscent of the horrors in Bucha, where residents are now trying to identify their loved ones. The UN reports more than 5,200 verified civilian casualties, 50 unlawful killings in Bucha alone. But UN officials say the actual number is likely much greater. Alex Prescia, ABC News, Washington.
An amazing story of survival out of Florida as some deputies' quick thinking saves a baby and mother surrounded by fire on a 3rd floor balcony. Check this out. The video is from Deputy William Pazinski's body camera. It was on his ballistic vest and he took it off to make it easier to climb, but the video kept rolling. Zelenskyy climbed up 2 balconies so the mother could then hand off the 1-year-old girl. He was then able to lower the baby to other deputies who were on the ground. In that time, the fire department was then able to get a ladder to save the mother and the grandmother. Luckily, nobody was hurt there.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Well, it was an absolutely beautiful day outside today as we got temperatures all the way up into the 80s for the first time this year. As a matter of fact, the first time in almost 200 days. We were up into the 80s with a lot of sunshine, but we do have some big changes in store as we see that colder weather starting to work its way back in for the next couple of days. Now, for today, we were actually about 30 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. Still 24 hours ago, we were 24 degrees cooler. So we are definitely seeing that warmth here this evening. And as our temperatures still remain in the upper 70s across the area, a lot of sunshine. A couple of spots are still into the low 80s despite the sun having starting to set. We are seeing a little bit of cloud cover working its way in here at the Poplar Grove Airport, just north of Rockford area. We are continuing to see that cloud cover work in overnight tonight. That'll bring us a system and some rain showers overnight as well. We were dealing with a lot of wind earlier today. A little bit of a break from the wind yesterday, but not really much today, as we are seeing those wind speeds up around 20 miles an hour from the south and wind gusts close to 40 miles an hour as well. Our current reported gusts close to 43 miles an hour in Monroe, 39 in Monroe, and 43 out further to the west. We are continuing to see those winds that will die down later on tonight as our temperatures will only get down into the low 60s. So that's right around where our average high should be for this time of year. Our low temperature only gets into the 60s with rain showers that will continue to work their way in. The rain showers continue through the early part of tomorrow morning as our temperatures get up into the upper 60s once again. We will see some afternoon sunshine that will help to boost those temperatures as well. Here's a live look at our satellite and radar as we see those rain showers and thunderstorms starting to work through Iowa over to our area, along with that cold front that'll bring us some rain showers overnight and into early tomorrow morning. We time these out with Futurecast. We do see those cold front and those rain showers coming through. Notice the temperature difference, 68 in Rockford, compare that to 59 in Galena. So we are seeing that cold front that'll bring our temperatures back down as well and bring us some heavier downpours at times, as well as maybe a thunderstorm or two, at least early on into the day tomorrow. Again, that afternoon sunshine does bring our temperatures back up into the upper 60s. We do hang on to a cloud cover there for the next couple of days beyond that. Our jet stream does continue to show really this outward flow. That's bringing all that warmth up for this current moment, but as we push this forward, we see that trough coming in. That'll bring us some cooler weather, at least for the back half of the week and into next week as well. Our 7-day forecast does show those cooler temperatures as well. Here, this forecast showing that big drop over the next couple of days, 82 to 68 to 52. That reflected again on our 7-day forecast as we get further out there. We continue to hold on to below average temperatures beyond this week and to kick off the first week of March as well. Again, 68 to 52. Then we're in the 50s for the early part of next week. A couple chances for some frost as our low temperatures get near freezing. And then we have a couple more rain chances later on into next week.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Who knows what to make of the Bulls at this point after their dismal performance last night against the Bucks. The defensive intensity and physicality that they showed in Game 2 in Milwaukee were nowhere to be seen last night at the United Center. The Bulls fell behind 9-0 and the Bucks just ran away with it. Credit the Bucks with limiting DeMar DeRozan to only 9 shots from the field. He finished with only 11 points. The Bulls have to find a way to free him up more in Game 4 tomorrow.
They've always been an outstanding defensive team. You know, they've been very, very, very good defensively. But I thought they were the more physical team. You know, I thought the first 2 games, you know, we physically, I thought, competed really, really well. I didn't think that we competed physically as well as we needed to, but I did think they took their physicality up from games 1 and 2.
And the next game in the series tomorrow will be at noon. You can see that game on WTVO. This was a good day and a bad day for Fred VanVleet. Good in that his Raptors avoided elimination in their playoff series with the 76ers. Bad in that VanVleet never saw the court in the second half. With 5 minutes to play in the second quarter, VanVleet committed an intentional foul because he needed the action to stop to lead the game because he strained his left hip. You can see Fred was so frustrated that he tore off his jersey. He sat out the rest of the game. The rest of his teammates stepped up, though, especially Pascal Siakam. He scored 34 points. and the Raptors won the game 110-102. The 76ers still lead the series 3-1. The next game will be played Monday night. VanVleet's Toronto teammate Scotty Barnes has been named the NBA's Rookie of the Year. He just edged out Cleveland's Evan Mobley. Barnes averaged more than 15 points and 7.5 rebounds during the regular season. He's the first Toronto Raptor to be named Rookie of the Year since Vince Carter won it back in 1999. The White Sox just have no luck at all when it comes to injuries. Another key player went down today in Minnesota. Eloy Jimenez hustling down the first base line in the second inning. His foot, though, hit wrong on the base and down he went. He injured his right hamstring and had to be carted off the field. We're not likely to see him in the lineup anytime soon. Jimenez missed most of last season with a torn pectoral tendon. Things didn't get any better for the Sox. Twins center fielder Braxton Buxton owned them. He hit this RBI double in the second inning. The Twins led 2-0. In the fourth inning, Buxton up again, knocks a home run off Vince Velasquez. That made it 5-0. They're in the eighth inning right now, and the Twins lead the White Sox 9-2. Are you ready for some Cubs highlights? I could show you them all night after what they did today at Wrigley. They had 23 hits and scored 21 runs against the Pirates. Seiya Suzuki there got one of his 3 hits in the second inning to drive in a run. Wilson Contreras next lines a single off Zach Thompson. That brought in 2 runs. Contreras had 3 hits. Still in the second inning, Alfonso Rivas, just promoted from Iowa yesterday, does the most damage. Hits a 3-run home run. The Cubs scored 8 runs in the second inning. Fifth inning now, Ian Happ continued the fun. He gets one of his 3 hits. That scored Contreras and made it 13-0. Nico Horner had 4 hits today and drove in 3 runs, and the Cubs blasted the Pirates 21-0. Lost in all the scoring was Kyle Hendricks' effort. He pitched 7 shutout innings. Justin Fields spent 3 days this week during minicamp getting a feel for the Bears' new offense. Fields' rookie season had its ups and downs, and he learned from all of it. He says he's way ahead of where he was last year at this time, having experienced the speed of the NFL.
My experience out on the field and, me spending time out there and, seeing the speed of an NFL game, seeing, just the feeling of being out there is just different from being on the sideline. So I'm just glad I got, that experience last year. And like I said before, I'm excited for year 2.